So, today I will discuss a card game. Not Magic, not Pokemon, not any of those anime TCGs. No. One anime TCG. From 1998 around to current day, there is a traded card game called the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. I've played the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG for 4-ish years now. From late 2020 to present day, I've played this game, and I could say that personally, I've enjoyed it. And that's about where all the good things end. I like the format of this game. The game's format of a more combo-esque strategy is fun, but yes, as it's called, it's very solitaire-esque. Not many people can say they enjoy combo because it's just playing by yourself half the time. And yeah, sometimes combo can seem like you're just doing a lot but not really getting anywhere. That can be described with most combo decks. Control as well is just very you playing by yourself. Control is different based off your opponent has to make plays for you to make plays, so it's not considered solitaire at that point. Yeah, but basically combo is summon a lot, you do a lot, you get those big card end boards. Control is you set 5, pass, and then slowly make your opponent's day worse. Which, yeah, it's not the most fun people have had, but, like, I seem to enjoy it because, like, to an extent, I seem to enjoy the aspect of, like, hey, I get to play my cards, right? I get to, like, use this cool shark card, or this Ready Fusion, or this Gozen match. I get to dump all my cards on the board and say I did something. But then it's like, how long can you do that before it gets boring? Because, yes, this game that I say that I love so much is boring. It can frustrate a person. From the new guy who just played the game like a month ago to the guy who played for 10 years, feels stressed out about almost every element of this game. Because it's like the new guy is worried about, what does this card do? What does this card do? What does this card do? And the other guy is like, what can my opponent do? What cards do they have that can just slam them down and just completely destroy me? And there's a lot. There's way too many, to the point where it's overly stressful, to where it's like each move you make, you're just waiting for one of these cards to be stopped, or your opponent to be like, hey, you summoned 5, the game's over. If you don't have a 1-card combo, which I find ridiculous. Some people say it's needed. I say it's unnecessary. I feel like if all your deck could do is just drop a rock and do almost nothing else, are you really playing the game at that point? Because it's like, your opponent summons 5, you stop their entire turn, what do you do next? It's either you play something, or you set 5 pass because the Nibiru is literally all you had. Then either your opponent does something or they don't and they lose. Which leads into, hey, I have a card that basically ends your entire turn if your deck isn't strong enough. So basically, one card, just one, can shut down the entire turn, the entire duel, based off what your opponent is playing. So if your opponent is on Fire King, like Diablo Stellar Fire King, they're going to beat your ass. You have to run like fucking Dark Magician. The Dark Magician player has to lose because they can't do anything. Yet Dark Magician can't put up 5 cards easily. So let's say I'm playing Shark. What if I'm playing Shark? It's like I can put up like maybe 5 cards, 5 Xyz monsters. That's about it, because I'd have to use my entire hand and go all in on the fact that I'm getting out all my Xyz monsters to put up like a board and then like negate some of my opponent's stuff or get huge attack monsters out the first turn. But if my opponent has Nibiru and I just dumped my entire hand into my board, I have no further plays. And my top deck could be whatever. It could be this. Which, sure, it could... This Foolish Burial Goods could get... in this deck, dumps Ice Barrier, the trap card. And then I can banish it, get a Bishark to my hand. And then it's like, hey, I have a Bishark, but I have no board. So what am I going to do with a Bishark? Maybe I'm reading Ice Barrier wrong. And then it's like, you could get any other card and then just be like, hey, I have something on board, but do you have 2 cards on board? Because you need 2 of the same level cards to make an Xyz monster, says Konami. And then it's like, no, I don't, or yes, I do. And either you win or lose, based off 1 card. So, it's like 1 card. This is like the major argument I'm going into here. 1 card shutting down the entire game based off what your opponent has is a terrible mechanic. Because sure, if your opponent puts up 5 negates, you probably can't do anything. If your opponent has 1 hand trap, they can't do anything. So it's either your opponent plays, defeats the other person, you have a hand trap, you beat them. It's just like a back and forth of who has the card to wipe out the other person because that card's so powerful, or who can put up the most material on the board, which can just negate everything. It's the dumbest back and forth game concept I've heard or described in my entire life. I normal summon Ash Blossom because I enjoy playing whatever deck I'm playing. If I can't counter that 1 card, or if I can't play through that 1 card, it's like, wow, that card's powerful. But then it's like, you can say that card's powerful. Sure, you could say Ash is like really good. But then it's like, it is, but it isn't. Like, everybody plays it, or everybody counters it, or if you can't counter it, your deck sucks, or if you can counter it, your deck probably is good, but you still might lose because that was probably your only negate and you got baited to use it. So it's like either Ash is good or it's bad, but everybody plays it, so how is it bad, kind of thing. Like, you really could have a good deck, but it depends on how many negates it has. How many hand traps does the opponent has? If the opponent has all the hand traps in the world in a turn starter, do you lose or not? Because most time, you do. There has been so many games where it's like I try to combo out my entire hand. It's like, play this card, Ash, play this card, Imperm, play this card, Max C out of nowhere, and then it's like, sure, I play a few cards, and they draw like 4, and then it's like I play another card, Nibiru. So they have like 10 cards in their hand. I played out my entire hand, and I have nothing on board. So it's like they can have all the hand traps in the world. If I don't have like any comeback plays, I instantly lose. I think they need to probably cut down the amount of hand traps we have. I'm not saying ban them. You can you can limit them, do whatever. I feel like some hand traps deserve to be banned, some to be limited or semi-limited, because the amount of like actual hand trap cards that are in the game just overextend the amount of stuff people can just stop and then just do the same thing I'm going to do, but like I don't have those hand traps in my hand, so I lose. Because like if we're playing the same deck and they have like 3 hand traps, an extender and a starter, and I have starter, extender, they just negate or stop everything I do, make the same exact play, I lose because they had these hand traps. It's like traps are like they change the way the game can go forward, but they're more easy to counter than a hand trap. What are hand trap counters? You have Ash, maybe, and like Crossout Call By. There's like 3 cards off the top. It's like, sure, they're at the top of my head because those are like the only actual ones besides like a Blunt and Omni negate. So literally, you have 3 actual cards to stop hand traps, and then any card that has an Omni negate, if they didn't already use a hand trap. And it's like, yeah, you have options. Yeah, look at the actual pool of options. It's a puddle on the side of the road of the amount of actual options you have. It's like, sure, there's not many legit good hand traps, but the amount of like copies you can play of each hand trap, because like each hand trap is like at 3, almost every one. Imperm, Ash Blossom, Nibiru. Who else is on that list? You got it. You probably got a few more. Like, you had Gamma at almost 3 a little bit ago. which seemed a bit much. And then they dropped it to 1. I think 1 gamma doesn't work. Like, it actually just doesn't work. It kind of kills the card. 2, I think, sees play. 3 is a bit much. Just go to 2 on gamma. It's like, you don't have to ban gamma. Limited it is just not going to do anything. 3 is a bit much, so 2 is a good sweet spot. It's about the same as Malicious Bane, to be honest. Nope, not Malicious Bane. The different Malicious. Destiny Hero Malicious. At 3, seems kind of busted. At 1, kills the card. At 2, sees play. It's like you can play that and get good results. I don't know why we would buff it to 3 again. It was at 2 for a while. I think people were fine with that, but I guess 3 is okay because I don't think many people are going to be abusing it as much. But people are still going to abuse cards. Like 10,000 Dragon. What was Bish Bulkin? The most unplayable synchro I think I've ever looked at or seen. Literally, people were able to abuse it as an FDK? As an FDK, bro. Yeah, people will abuse any card that has a semi-decent effect, and they will find every single card in the game that can allow the person to then abuse the card. Everyone's gonna just abuse, like, cards with effects that go nowhere until you find the perfect amount of cards to get that card out on the first turn, and apparently the effect is good then. Crazy. Because, like, the Bishop Bolted FDK is, like, you have to get a bunch of, like, stuff out, and then you have to get a Chronomaly on the board, and then, like, the Bishop Bulk, has to be, like, some sort of attack, and then, like, the Chronomaly just uses its effect and then burns for game. The fact that Chronomaly is part of FDK baffles me. It actually baffles me. And it's like, what can you say about, like, a deck that FDKs? It's like, I guess that's why hand traps are a thing. So it's like, hey, I want to, like, play the game, but it's also like, if you play too many hand traps and basically just stop the FDK's turn, what are they gonna have? The most random cards ever known on the board that mostly do nothing. And then, like, the other person is on, what, Tenyi Sword Soul? And then it's like, the FDK player loses because they get screwed over. And then it's like, it's either just let the FDK happen, or just ban whatever enables the FDK. Because honestly, Bish Bulkin probably would still be abused, even if the Chronomaly didn't exist. If you ban the Chronomaly, that's like, what the hell is it gonna do? Back to what makes this game suck. Control doesn't make the game suck. It's like Control has died off almost. Labyrinth seemed like a tier 1 deck. It was like very close to tier 1 in like Master Duelish. Maybe it was tier 1 in TCG or OCG. And then it, like, I don't know what happened. I think new cards just came around because I don't think they really hit anything of Lab. And then Lab just slowly dropped down the ladder, and now it's like I don't even hear about that deck anymore. It's like they got like what, two new cards in the past like few months, and like that's it. That's all I heard. It's just they got new support. It's like cool. Haven't really seen Lab since, and I don't really care to see it. I think Lab is somewhat fun to play, but it's like probably not the most fun to go against. Because who legitimately wants to go up against Labyrinth? Who wants to go against maybe Eldritch? Who wants to go against most control decks, to be honest? Not many people. Because, like, they know it's just going to be set 5 pass, and then it's like, hey, this card, hey, this card, hey, this card. And it's like, hey, here's, like, three to 2 traps that shut down your hand. Basically, it's just any play you make is just going to hinder you, so don't do it. Which I just think is kind of stupid. Because it's like, it hinders your hand and board at the same time? To where it's like, what is even going on? Because it's like, what's the card? There can only be one? That's such a dumb concept. One monster on the board. If you're on control, you probably don't care about that. If you're on combo, that's devastated. And then it's like, there can only be one summon limit. And then it's like, what even else? It's like, deep. No. A trap that basically just stops something else from occurring. I don't know. It's like there can only be one summon limit. And then it's like a few rest where it's like skill drain. Also is pretty annoying to deal with. Because it's like you have to have back row, destruction, and then it's like, since control has died down because it's like combo has just been more of a popular option, because like most of the monsters just destroy back row now. Like back when it was more obscure to have monsters to destroy basically all back row, I don't think a lot of people still played back row destruction. Here's the thing. People still can play back row destruction. It's just in the side deck. So it's like, I bet TCG-wise, control has fallen way off. I bet in Master Duel, I feel like you can go far with control because not a lot of decks put in back row destruction. Here's the thing, though. Are you most likely to go up against, like, a Dragon-made ×3 structure deck player, or the guy who's on the tier 0 deck of the format? Because the way Master Duel is formatted, where it's like, if you just play your account right, you can get the best deck, save up your gems, and when the new best deck arrives, buy out that box, get all those cards, craft all those cards, and you're still in the same cycle of just winning. And I feel like that system goes through a lot of people's like head. Sure, if you're in lower ranks, you go up against the guy who just doesn't have a lot of good stuff on them. Yet, if you're on control and you're winning, the more you go, it's like the more likely you're gonna face the guy on the best deck of the format. So, yeah, if you're on control, nobody's playing back row destruction, you can go up the ladder. It's just, you're gonna hit the rock bottom point, the obstacle, the wall, the railroad blocker, whatever. You're gonna hit that stopping point and realize, wow, this deck that I'm just seeing more and more of really counters my deck, so I can go up the ladder. And I feel like that's where control falls off. It's like everything now can probably stop a counter deck. Like, it's like the more powerful a deck is, it's like can deal with every deck at that point. So it's like, why can't it beat control that easily? Probably can. Which is probably why nobody's on control anymore. And the thing is, there's another deck type that has fallen off because the way the game's formatted, the inheritable best decks basically have only, like, the format of what a really strong deck is has only gotten stronger, and everything else has just gotten super weak because it's like first turn full play, like train combo, not actual trains, like a combo deck that just picks up speed and more speed and more speed, and then it's like, hey, when you see something on the railroad, bam, it gets decimated by, like, negating it or just destroying it, banish it. So it's just those, like, first turn combo decks that just negate everything, basically. Those have just gotten more powerful and powerful. And then it's like decks that, like, oh, I played during their turn. It's like, sure, you can, but also you can't, because it's like the more resources, the search potential, the, like, powerful cards in deck kind of thing, all those mishmash together, and then just get stronger over time. And now it's at a point where most of the top combo decks just look at all the other kind of deck types and then just obliterate them because of how much they can do, how much they can negate, how much they can attack over. And then it's like, what else do they play? Because it's like, sure, control's still a bit scary, which is why people play some back row. But then it's like, at that point, if they side in back row destruction, you're done for, because then it's like, hey, it was a bit challenging to play against your deck, I beat you. And then it's like, hey, now I put in what basically obliterates you even faster and more efficiently into my deck. So it's like, if I beat you that time, I'm just gonna beat you even easier this time. And then it's like, at that point, just don't play control. Same goes for just going second decks. Most of going second, like, blind second decks, sure, Cyber Dragon with Clockwork Knight is kind of scary. But I literally say kinda because it's like, what are they gonna do? It's like, sure, Contact Fuse your board, but then you have, like, 3 graveyard effects that literally blow them out of the water. And then it's like, oh, great, I lose. Because I don't have, like, the one of copy of Called By. And then it's like, wow, you combo basically your entire board again, and then you just get effects off that pop most of my board and give you some searches. Or recycle. And then it's like, then just don't play Sidra at that point. Then it's like, what is the second most known blind second deck? Fluffle, Frightfur, I'm pretty sure. And then it's like, you think about it, and it's like, ah, yes, that deck sucks so badly because it has one good normal summon, and I think you need another, like, you need to draw another good card while searching your second good card to then start, like, building up your plays to finally start, like, a cycle of, like, get that vendor out, pop that vendor, get this card, get that card, fusion this, and then fight for fuse that, and then it's like, sure, you can make plays. None of your stuff really has negates. A lot of your attack points are kind of low. You don't have many combat plays. You don't really have negates to like get cards away from the grave. Like, you don't have much banishing stuff. Like, the card you could get at the biggest attack, nobody plays it. It's like, what, Nightmare Factory, I'm pretty sure? Nobody plays that fusion. I play the fusion for, like, conveniency kind of, like, times, but even then, if I get it out, it's like, the attack varies a lot. So it's like, here's the fusion that can get to, like, 7,000 attack. Nobody plays it, though. So it's like, hey, your biggest beat stick, because your deck's kind of relying on a beat stick type fusions. Your biggest one, you barely play it, because it's just not the best. So it's like, the card that should be really good in your deck, nobody plays it. So it's like, what even can your deck do at that point? I feel like if they gave Fluffle like other normal summons, a few better, absolutely better fusions, and then just like actually good spells and traps. Because what do their spells and traps do? It's like, add a card that has been outdated since like since like Seas Monsters came out, and then add a card where there's literally only 3 of those types of cards in your deck, because most of the other Edge Imp cards suck. There's only 3 good ones. It's Sabre, it's Sabress, it's the Chain, and it's Scythe. Those are the 3 only playable Edge Imps. They need more, because it's like, Chain is great, Scythe is even better, but then it's like the third one, Sabress, just doesn't do anything. And that's the third best one, and it doesn't even do anything. So it's like, what is the deck even supposed to do if most of its best cards don't do anything? They need support badly, and I feel like if they did get support, and then like, I feel like if the support led into the go in second strategy, the deck can do something. Because if you just like blind second, and then it's like, you look at how Master Duel in the TCG, like, turn pick kind of thing is formatted, it can be a coin toss, it can be rock, paper, scissors, it can be like a roll of a dice, odd or even call. If you're going blind second, you're mostly getting second, because it's like, your opponent will usually go first, and then you can just choose to go second. So you're going second like all the time. So if they like play into like, hey, you can you can like do more stuff on your opponent's turn, Fluffle could be decent, like an actual rogue deck option. And then it's like Konami did something. They gave a legacy deck support. They gave a fan favorite deck support. They gave a dying deck support, and they like put in another deck in like the rogue category, where it's like it's not like a kind of annoying deck, and also it's like it's not a meta, it's not a new meta deck kind of thing. So it's just like, hey, there's a decent deck out now, cool, and it's a fan favorite, has cool artwork. It's good because of something that is like not seeing play at the moment, because like as I said, the most commonly seen and the most successful blind second deck is just Cyber Dragons. Like, you really can't beat blind second with Cyber Dragons, because that's like the deck basically, is Hydra for blind second. Yeah, if they just like gave Fluffle more stuff to work with within its like strength, which is blind second, that would do so much for it. But it's like they might wait like another year or two to give us those cards. And the thing is, they could do the most boring thing possible and then just be like, hey, no more blind second, it's just going to be a first turn combo deck. And then it's like with like an odd edge up, because that one card placed during the opponent's turn, they could do that, and then it just like wouldn't work. And I hope they just don't do that. I hope it's like just blind second strategy is like the full thing going forward, because it's semi working for the deck, but like the deck, like the format now is crazy with like the new meta stuff, because like Fluff will just get 0-2, 0-3, just everything against most of those decks. Like, yeah, it's the same with like most like kind of legacy decks. It's like, hey, there's a fan favorite deck out that is like 5 decent support cards away from becoming this really, really decent rogue deck. And you don't want to capitalize on that. You want to keep giving those decks just bad support cards that nobody will buy. And then you're going to market it as the new best support card for the deck, even though it literally is complete shit. Like, what the fuck is Magic Karibo? It's like, it has an effect to, like, summon Dark Magician in a really obscure way, and nobody plays it. And if they do, it's at, like, what, 1 copy. And it may just be 1 copy of it in a side deck for just, like, those really heavy beat sticks decks that nobody really plays. Thank you, Konami, for nothing. Like, what is that card? It's like all you need is 5 decent support cards, and I feel like you could take a deck that literally has seen no regional play and maybe take it to like top 20 in a fucking YCS, or top 16, whatever the hell, top 8 to a YCS. 5 support cards is all you need, and it's like, hey, you probably don't have to make support for this deck for a while. You gave the fans what they asked for. The fans probably will stop asking for support for a while. And then it's like, great, you made a new rogue deck. You made this deck playable again. Good. Cool. W, even. Do you know what deck literally symbolizes what I just said? Crystal Beast. They gave them a new fusion, a new spell, a new Crystal Beast, and like a new card. Which is like yeah, that's about like around 5 cards. And then it's like, what did it do for the deck? What didn't it do for the deck should be the question. Like, what? Like, the deck, like, you gave it Crystal Miracle. You gave it, looking through the deck, you gave it Bridge of the Heart. You gave it Zenith. You gave it the new Fusion. And you give it an Awakening of the Crystal Beast. That's like 5 cards. Besides, like, what, Random Refraction or something? No, probably not. The one where it's like add any field spell, basically. Yeah, you gave it like 6 cards. So you basically gave like a deck that literally almost nobody played. Like 6 new cards. And then now it's like, and then for a while it was like a really decent deck. Because you could like turbo out your new fusion on turn 1 and then just like clear the board and then bring back all your Crystal Beast and then just attack for game on the next turn. That's pretty good. I think that's decent, actually. So it's like, hey, you gave basically a deck that has nothing, 6 new cards, and now it literally can do what it wishes it could have done years ago. Now I think it needs like 2 new cards, and then it'll just be back into relevancy. But I think it's still in a okay spot. Probably not for the current format with Snake Eyes, but like, I think it's decent still. And then it's like, they do give some legacy decks support, and then it's like, they give it decent support. It's like, cool. It's like, cool. But then it's like, wow, some of these good cards don't really fit the strategy. So it's like, now it's like different deck lists have like some of the new stuff and some don't, and then it's like different end goals, and then that just confuses like some of the players. It was like, hey, you put a deck into a direction going forward, and that was really good and like really kind of y'all. And then it's like, okay, so we're off of this and we're sticking with this and we're going because we got like we never got before. And then it's like the new stuff comes. It's like, all right, we'll see what the new stuff is since we're kind of like slowing down. And then it's like the same kind of stuff as the old stuff that we just left from. And then it's like, what the hell is this? And now it's like, I guess since the train is very slowing down, you have to get the stuff. And then it's like weird, but it's like, you can like start picking up. But then it's like, it's a weird feeling because it's like, we left from this, we got this, sent off, and now we're at this, and then it's like, oh, this is kind of like the old stuff, but it's like, what about like focusing more on the newer stuff that seemed to do really well? Like, if something old wasn't working, you switch to a new thing and that takes off, why try to go back to the old stuff? Literally, I'm talking about Shark Exceeds. Literally this. talking about that because it's like, hey, what worked? So it's like, what didn't work with Shark? It's like pretty much this, basically. Rank 3 exceeds because most rank 3 monsters at like back then or like before the support really didn't do much. And then it was like they gave Shark like fives. Like very obscure fives, and that was like okay, but there wasn't really much rank fives to go around. And then it was like fours. There's something there. There's actually something with the fours because they gave us Silent Angler and they gave us Bahamut Shark. And just like wow, like Buzzsaw Shark. I mean, dang, I can't get these cards right. They gave us these. These are really good. These are extraordinary because they get you like into this, which can get into most of your extra deck if you're playing the extra deck right at that point in time. Now it's mostly just totally awesome or just some other Xyz that like has a decent effect on board or you overlay it. These two with the 4 category kind of sent it off. And then it's like you got obscure 4s and stuff in the Sharks because like there was like I think it was Big Jaws or something. I don't know. Like a angler shark or a saber shark. And then like those were 4s. And then it had like weird obscure level change effects. Like for a time period it was like you could change the level of some of your sharks to get into different Xyz. Is like more water Xyz. That was weird. Like, it was a kind of a weird period. Because it's like, you have semi-decent in both the Xyz categories, but, like, the main deck monsters were, like, very obscure. So it's like, I don't know if this is the path we want to go on. And then it's like Shark went into a more level 4, level 5 kind of format in Power of the Elements, I'm pretty sure, or whatever. And then actually no, I don't think it was Power of the Elements. It wasn't it Abyssal Waters. It was like the Miku Tsunami, I'm pretty sure, legendary thing, legendary box, or it was like the shark box, the character bot, like legendary duelist box, and then like that had most of these guys, and then it like gave us new stuff as well, and it kind of like, because it gave it like one of those boxes gave us Abyssal Shark and Crystal Shark and like some of the newer stuff, and then it was like, so like as we went on, more like of like kind of water shark level 4 and level 5 waters dropped, and then it was like, okay, that's good. And then it was like the mass drop of like sharks, and then it was like, this is like really nice because it's like we were picking up some pieces along the way of like level 4 water kind of cards, like Ice Knight, left hand shark, right hand shark, Buzz, Bahamut, and then it and like Silent Angler, and then we got like Abyss Shark, Crystal Shark, and then it was like, hey, a Bahamut can actually get out, totally awesome. And it's like, wow, that's interesting. What if we use that? And then the deck at that point in time, at like near Power of the Elements, like 2022 or something, around that time, the deck was in a solid spot with like Beautiful Princess and all those cards. But then it's like people started to realize there's some flaws in the deck, and then it was like the deck got like some new stuff or like picked up some old stuff, and then like we put those in, and it was like, hey, pretty decent. It's like we're probably gonna stray away from tuna because like that's the most Like, that's probably the worst card in the deck. And then it's like, alright. And then it was like, the deck was in a decent spot. Then it transcended to a really good spot again with the release of these three. The Xyz armor cards pretty much put the deck like back together, because it was like, it was in a solid spot with like Vomit, Stealth Kraken, and Abyss Dweller. Like those kind of cards. It's like CXC's Nash Knight, like the OG Nash Knight, Silent Arc, and like, hell, what was that other card? Silent Hunter Dark. Those cards. It's like, those were really good. And then it was like Valiant Lancer, and then the Ice Princess. More higher rank Xyz cards. The deck was like ooh, really tough. And then it's like, it kind of like started to die down a bit, which is kind of disappointing. But then the Xyz armor stuff drops, and it's like, we're back in business. Because now we can kind of play during the opponent's turn and then get like effects off. And also, we now have something to do with Bahamut Shark. Because before, it was like Bahamut Shark kind of just sat on the field for like a turn and then summoned another card. Now, you could just play Bahamut Shark, get your Toad out, and then overlay it for the Xyz armor Xyz. And then it's like, hey, now I can make a couple more plays because I had a Bahamut Shark on field and not just let it sit on board and do nothing for a turn. Pretty good. And now we're getting new stuff. It's like, wow, we just got this cool Xyz armor stuff. A big issue was like the rank 3 on Torpedo, which is like, oh, it's a rank 3 Xyz, interested, like, throwback kind of thing. Maybe that's just a one-time thing. And now it's like, I think they're trying to bring back level 3s into the equation, which strikes me as odd, because it's like, why would you give us level 3s back? We were really doing good with 4s and 5s and stuff. I don't think we need more 3s again. Whatever. It's like, you had old stuff that wasn't really working, and then you get new stuff, Transcend, kind of dies down, and then like you get new stuff. It's like, great. If it's like what we've been having, this is just gonna skyrocket us again. And then it's the old stuff, and it's like, sure, we'll take it, and then we'll like slowly go. But then it's like, we don't know if we're gonna go at the same speed, or it's like we're gonna like get a like bite into some of it, and then it's just gonna be really good, and then we're just gonna skyrocket. I feel like there's another deck that has this kind of thing. It's like, sure, like, you can give us new stuff, whatever. I enjoy new stuff. It's just, if you're like revamping the old stuff at that point, that's just a weird decision choice, and I don't know where we're going with that. Alright. It's like, I like getting new stuff. I hate when it's like, it's new stuff, but then it's like, it's the old stuff. It's like, the old stuff didn't take the deck anywhere. The new stuff took it all the way there. And if we're trying to give it back the old stuff, it may or may not work. It's a weird choice. It's such a weird choice to me that I feel like they didn't realize how much Shark was doing with just 4s and 5s being the main equation. Like, jeez. Alright. So more, like, I've been rambling a lot. I need to get back into the hate discussion. What do I hate? some of the new rules where it was like playmats and sleeves had to be certain amount of like Konami or something, and then it was like that they would like kick people because of like mats and sleeves. Some mats and sleeves, I can see why they aren't probably supposed to be played on. But like if like apparently some mats fell into this category, and those mats looked completely fine, and like the sleeves were completely fine, and because it didn't meet some category, they weren't acceptable, and I find that kind of stupid. Thing I enjoy is like some of the new rules about respecting your opponent. That's really nice. That's kind of good. Will people follow that? Absolutely not. But I like they're like trying to be like, hey, respect your opponent's like respect your opponent's identity. Respect your opponent like anyway. And then it's like, that's nice. But people will be dickheads and like just don't follow the rules, so like people will still just do stuff they shouldn't, and then some people might just end up getting hurt or something. Bad stuff. And then it's like people try to joke about like, if I misidentify my opponent, I'm gonna get kicked out of the tournament. It's like, if you do it, if you correct yourself, you're okay. I feel like there's nothing bad there. So it's like, just follow the rules, be respectable. That's what I hate the player base. Like, I really just don't like the player base. If you follow the rules, if you're respectable, if you're playing the game cleanly, and you aren't toxic, you're A-okay. Literally, you're A-okay. If you don't follow like those simple like kindergarten ass rules, you deserve to be kicked from the tournament at that point, because it's like you're not respecting anyone. If you don't want to respect people, then it's like, yeah, that's a big thing. Just don't be toxic. I feel like that's simple. Just don't be a D-head. Don't be an a-hole. Be respectable. It's simple. It's like when you're taught in school and you can't even listen to that. You don't listen to your teachers, you don't listen to Konami, you don't listen to your parents, you only listen to yourself. And that's probably why you don't have friends. Apology, but I'm not wrong to tell the other person respect somebody or you're cooked. I feel like if you've been playing the game for 10 years and still don't follow the rules, and somebody who's been playing for 4 years literally has a better idea of what the rules of the game are than you, I feel like you're not in a good spot. Not like rule-ins, I mean just basic etiquette. Like, just basic human etiquette at that point. And then it's like, I can be better at that than you. That's insane. I hate, pricing. Not prize in, pricing. Because it's like, reprint cards. I feel like there's a vast majority of cards that like need a reprint because they're like in certain decks. If they're in a deck that's like played all the time and like people need more copies of this card because it's like in almost every list, because it's just a decent card for this like semi-decent rogue deck, I feel like you should reprint it. Reprinted ban cards is weird because it's like they reprint stuff and then just ban it the next set, which I find weird because it's like there's a playable card that needs a reprint, so go reprint that, so it's like cheaper instead of just, hey, reprint this expensive card and then just immediately ban it for money. You can get money the same way if you just reprint actual playable cards, because it's then like, hey, I know people will buy the soon to be banned card because it's cheap now and then you get free money, but if you like reprint a kind of old card that people are still playing, you're gonna get about the same money and maybe even more money, because even after the like, even going into the next set, people could still be buying it because they can buy it and then go to play it. And it's like, sure, I could be talking about a million different cards, probably. The main card I'm talking about is Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. The card's $20? $20? Dude, people can, like, I mean, it's like, yeah, $20. It's like, well, $20 is $20, okay? $20 is basically $20. And then it's like, literally, like, a trip to Olive Garden is probably more expensive than Ab Zero, but it's like, sure, but like, that's like a fancy pasta meal with garlic bread, not one piece of cardboard. So it's like cardboard or pasta dinner from a pretty good pasta restaurant, basically. It's like, what's your pick? Then it's like, why is this like not even that far off of pricing of this? Like, that's just, no. Like, $20 for an Elemental Hero is insane. And then it's like I feel like you can reprint a card and then a few sets later reprint the same card. And I feel like that's like pretty decent, because it's like, hey, blah blah blah, like, so like you print an expensive card, now it's like kind of cheaper, and then it like goes back up in price again. Why not just do the same thing, right? It's like, just like reprint it again, because it's like you're gonna reprint it sometime, maybe even 2 years from now. You're gonna reprint it. So it's like, why 2 years at that point? Because it's like, I'd expect the buy rate of a card that is only played in like one deck, and it's not even a meta deck. Like, I feel like you're not making a bunch of money by just not reprinting it. Because it's like, what are you getting out of, like, from like online kind of thing? Like, if you put a card on eBay and then just say, give me like $20 for it, you're getting $20, right? I don't think Konami's really getting the $20, so I don't see what the pricing confuses me so much, and I don't understand why they don't reprint cards, or like print some like support, or like make these structure decks, or make these starter decks, or make this deck, or print these cards, or print that support. I don't know why they don't print a bunch of stuff people want and people have been begging for years, but they'll print the newest meta deck, and then everybody just goes complain about how that's so powerful, instead of just like giving some legacy support to decks who haven't had support in like 4 years. It took Konami like almost 5 years to give Gimmick Puppet support. That deck was in the dumps for 4 years. It has seen almost zero play, and now it's decent. Like, good job. You did it. You gave the deck support. I'll give you that. It did not need to take 4 years. And literally the support is based off it. Like, it has so much like playability with Nightmare that it's like, I feel like since Brandon played Nightmare, they're like, hey, we forgot to give Gimmick Puppet support for like half a decade, so it's like, might as well give them some support and make it playable with Nightmare. But it's like, the deck doesn't need Nightmare to play it, because it's like, it could do a lot more without the Nightmare in the deck. So, like, you made it like you strictly make support off one card, and you somehow messed that up, but in a good way. So it's like a happy accident, and then it's like, I guess that's okay. Like, it's a bit weird that it's like you had one goal in mind and you screwed that all up, but in like the best way possible, kind of. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, see, it's like an unplayable deck like Gimmick Puppet can get like 10 cards and be like, we're doing fine. And then like Volcanic gets like 7 cards, and it went from unplayable to you can play it, but it's barely even rogue kind of thing. Like, at pure, if you slide in tech cards, I feel like it can be a rogue deck. Just like, not the best rogue deck, I feel like. Yeah, that's basically legacy support. Things I hate, because it's like, still on that topic. Player base, still the player base, because I feel like this game just doesn't have the best player base. Because the amount of like competition I see is crazy. Because it's like, sure, it's a competitive game, but then it's like, only like, what, a few years ago, they had to install a rule for the players to not smell like garbage. That's insane. What? Like, the first time I heard that, I was flabbergasted, baffled. I was like, I'm in Spindledorf, bro. Like, a rule to not smell is insane, because it's like, yes, don't bathe and then just go take a 5-mile run to your card shop to then just make your opponent surrender because you smell. What? Y'all are crazy. What is that? That's the players that play this game. That's what they do. I hate the player base. I hate the player base. Because if they do stuff like that to win, that's just crazy. Because what are you getting? Like, a box of the latest set, and you could probably just pull bad? You gotta be kidding me. I can't. I can't even, my guy. That's just, yep. Love it. Love this game, guys. Y'all love this game? I know. Yeah, they need so... I fucking can't. Don't smell like garbage is a new rule. That's insane. That's my player base. Oh man. Alright. So, what did we... So, here's the conclusion. What did we cover? They need to start doing something with hand traps in the ban list. People need to... here's a little thing, since we're gonna cover the ban list. People need to probably treat the ban list a bit more seriously. Because people will literally make the dumbest take I've seen in my life to then say, hey, here is a possibly bannable card, should be banned, maybe could be banned, and then it'll just like include all these cards with a card that has not seen play in a competitive format in like 3 years. And then the only reason they say is because it's a little bit annoying. You literally just said we should ban a card that's barely seen any competitive play for the past few years because it's annoying. Now what else is annoying? You literally half the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh can be described as annoying, yet you're not saying to ban this or this or this or this. You're saying to ban just a card that, like, it's a generic link, sure. And then it's like, hey, I get to pop one of your cards. And then it's like, gain like 3k attack. That's decent. But to say it should be banned is crazy. Because it's like, you literally have multiple, like, FDK decks or, like, some people who can just combo out a board that locks all the zones that isn't Kashtira. And then you have people who play Kashtira, lock most of zones, and then, like, play obscure tech cards to then just lock up the rest of the zones. And then it's like, I can't play the game. And then, like, I'm not saying, I can't play the game because of this. No. You actually just can't play the game. Because that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, this is gone. You might have, like, 2 gone, and then it's like, hey, I have 3 spell slots. What are you going to do with 3 spell slots? Nothing. Because if you try to play a board breaker, negate. And then it's like, oh, that's literally my only board breaker. Well, I quit. Speaking of prize in, because I said price in, not prize in. Based on prize in, going back to prize in, I mean, I did not get prepared for this. Ours suck. Like, actually. Because, like, I thought the prize in was like, hey, you get money or something. No. You get a promo card. You get a very, very obscure, non-playable promo card. And I don't even think you can even play it in an actual duel, because it's like, hey, this is like a trophy, kind of, but not really. And it's like, so you can't really play the card. Even if you could, it's basically unplayable. It's basically, you don't get money, you don't get something, you don't get this or that. So it's like, hey, I just use my knowledge and my skills of this game, and my deck building skills, my dueling skills, my ruling knowledge, and all that, to beat all of these players. And now here at the top, what do I get for putting my blood, sweat, and tears into all that? A unplayable piece of cardboard. It's not like a trophy. It's not like money. It's not this or this or that. It's a unplayable card. And then you're just gonna have to sell it on eBay for 50 grand. And then it's just gonna be like, that's acceptable. That's acceptable. That's unacceptable. What? No. That's so stupid. People on, like, videos, Twitter, Reddit, all that, talk about how horrible our pricing is. It's bad. Like, if I topped a YCS and all I got was an unplayable card with a picture of a of this like galactic turtle that was like level 8, 3k of attack, and then like 2000 defense with an effect that says vanilla, like no effect, and it was like a description of the turtle, and it was like this card could not be used in a duel, printed, and it was like, here you go. I'd look at it, maybe take a pic of it, and then just be like, who wants this for like what, maybe 25,000? Be like, who wants this for 25,000 so I could like have some money saved and then like probably distribute it for like more decks to like have the cards needed to win the next, and then it's like basically the Master Duel cycle, but in like real life kind of thing. So it's like back in that kind of cycle, and then it's like, all right, again, another send it off, another send it off. At that point, hand me like a big crate of like just of like merch of like, hey, here's like here's like, maybe they could ask you like, hey, what kind of like cards you want, and then like I can tell them what cards I want or need, and it's like, here you go because you won, and it's like, here's some structure decks, here's a playmat, here's sleeves. They give out playmats, they do, but it's like, the playmats they give out are cool, but it's like, why not take like those kind of playmats and then like make them into a product? Because like, sure, it's supposed to be a prize, but then it's like, hey, you haven't made a playmat of this character or this card, but you make it for a prize kind of thing, and like people who want like a playmat of this character or this monster or this like thing have to get it custom made, but like an official one would be cool, but it's only as a prize, which is kind of stupid because they make a lot of money. Maybe we could like take past like of those like prize playmats and then like actually throw them out there as like products, and I think like they make a lot of money off of that because it's like, oh, hey, here's this cool playmat and it's official, just go buy it, and then it's like, wow, they make money, I have this cool playmat, everybody's happy. But no, they don't. Like, I guess sleeves, like, so pricing sucks, player base sucks, the hand trap sucks, tier 0 kind of sucks, not waiting so long to get deck support sucks. Most of this game sucks, but like, because of how like the card art is and like what they actually do, like with like sending out products, and like some of the cards pricing is good, most of the majority of like this game just does not live up to like what people expect from like Magic or Pokemon. So I think like a lot of things need to change from Konami, and then maybe this game can be really great again. Until then, this game just sucks. Bye.